for truth to be truth, it has to be based on God. Now, everybody have their own God, but for truth to be truth, it must be based on God. If it's not based on God, well, it's going to be very difficult to call it truth. Because let's say, if we say truth is based on man or on an individual, let's say we say the truth is based on a human being, but the human being makes mistakes. So what about with his own mistakes? Then it's not going to work, because truth will come out and conflict with whatever he has said. Truth will come out and refute whatever he has said. We men, we fail. We men make mistakes. We men fall. We men stumble. We men are just men. So truth cannot be based on man. I hope you understand that. Truth cannot be based on man, because man is fallible. So truth has to be based on something that is absolute, on something that is infallible, on something that is perfect. And who is perfect? I'm not perfect. Maybe you are perfect, but I'm not. So since we are not perfect, truth cannot be based on us. Okay, maybe truth could be based on the society, the government. The government said this is truth. But we know truth cannot be based on government, because government comes, government goes. So one government comes, it brings in one truth. And they say it is law. Then the next government goes, this government goes, and another one comes, and you say that one, they bring another truth and bring their own order. And you say, okay, you have another truth now. So truth cannot be based on government, because you only have a government of one country, and you have government of in one continent is different from the other continent. You have a government in one country is different from the government in the other country. So truth cannot be based on government, because it's not universal. And one of the characteristics of truth is that it has to be universal. It has to be universally accepted. And there is no government that will be universally accepted. And there is no government that's going to be accepted by all men. So truth cannot be based on government. All right? So truth cannot even be based on religion. Truth cannot be based on religion, because your religion says and my religion says. I recognize my religion, I don't recognize your religion. So truth cannot be based on religion. Why? Because if you attach truth to religion, then you will not see the absolutism of it. And you will not see it will always be subjective instead of objective. But for truth to be truth, it must be objective, not subjective. And if you are talking about religion, that is something subjective, not objective. So truth cannot be based on religion. So also, truth has to rhyme with reality. And we know that truth is, the truth is that everybody has their own religion, and everybody is defending their religion. So that is the reality. So if it is truth, it will rhyme the fact that every religion will accept it. So if, for example, if I say, do not steal, that is beyond religion. Because do not steal is, understandable by all religion, by all nationality, is beyond borders, is beyond government, is beyond the continent, and is beyond religion. So truth will always transcend religion. Truth will always transcend the borders. Truth will always transcend nationality. And truth will transcend any differences that people might have. Truth will be known and recognized by all men. So we cannot base truth on any other thing than God. So when philosophers and humanists and our contemporary scientists or philosophers come and tell us that truth is, we don't believe in God, then you destroy the foundation of the society. If you don't believe in God, so on what do we base our standards? Because truth is the standard bearer. Truth is the standard, is the height that we all look up to. So who decides standards? If it's not truth, if it's not God. So if it is not God, who decides the standard? If it is not God, who decides who is right or who is not right? Where do we get our moral from? Because you have to have a supreme being that is perfect to attach morality to him. So we have to attach morality only to God. We cannot attach morality to man, because man again is fallible. We cannot attach morality to church because see what is happening in church. Churches also are fallible. Churches also can fail. We cannot attach morality to government because government change and fail and they are not perfect there in government. So truth and morality cannot be attached to any other thing than God. So God is the ultimate standard bearer. God is the ultimate attachment to truth. God is the ultimate decider of truth. God is the ultimate leveler of truth. So God is the only, any truth, when you talk about truth, it must be gauged by God. It must be by the standard that is set by God himself. When you talk about truth, it must be a truth that is sanctioned by God. A truth that is, in line with God's nature, with God's viewpoint, with God's paradigm, with God's belief system, and with God's morals, with God's values and virtues. So only those things that God, as the supreme being, as the one that is over and above everybody, only what is sanctions, therefore, could be recognized as truth. So truth is attached to God. Truth comes from God. God decides truth. Man cannot decide truth. No other institution can decide truth. So there is no way we could say, I don't agree with God. If you don't agree with God, just like communism. You remember there used to be Lenin and Stalin, and there used to be Marx and Engels. Those are people who brought about communism, and they said, we don't recognize God. Good for you. But truth cannot be defeated. So even though for 70 years, they cut off God from the society, they said, we don't recognize God. There is no God. We are building our country without God. But the truth is, God, it comes from God. Truth comes from God. And God is existing. God is alive. Everything comes from God and rests on God. So God will give you time for you to do anything you want. God will give you time for you to try. Try your best. So God withdrew. God took the back seat. And it only lasted them for 70 years. After 70 years, everything collapsed. Truth will reveal you. Truth will expose you. Truth will come and say, there is nothing you can do against the truth, only for the truth. Truth will come and vindicate itself. Truth will come and condemn you. And the reason why truth came and destroyed communism is because God is at the source of truth. Truth itself is not divisible from God. Truth is indivisible from and with God. Truth and God are one entity. God is truth. The truth is God. So there is no way you could deny God and say that you believe in truth. Your truth will not work because God is the one that is the foundation of all truth. And anything you declare or you recognize, if you recognize gravity, that is because God created it. If you recognize space, that's because God created it. If you recognize people, that's because God created them. If you recognize anything on earth, it's because it's coming from God. So, truth is based on God. Truth must be based on God. Let's look at any truth. But you must know the difference. There is a difference between truth that is based on God and truth that is based on religion. So you cannot say you must come to my church before you could because you could meet God. I cannot say that. I cannot say that because my religion or my church is limited. But I can introduce you to God. That will be the truth. Because my church is not universal. Even if it is everywhere, but it's not absolute. It is not it's not objective because it's subjective because it's my church. So church is not truth. Or religion is not truth. Truth is God. And God is connected with the truth, but it's not the church that decides the truth. So, truth is based on God. Is based on God. God is the standard for the truth. God is the standard bearer for truth. God is the ultimate decider when it comes to truth. And God is, because when it comes to the truth, it must be hinged on something or somebody that is there forever. Truth must be hinged on someone that is unchangeable. And we know God is unchangeable. So truth can only be hinged to him. Truth can only be hinged on someone that is omniscient, that knows everything, that is all-knowing, that is God. So truth is hinged to God. Truth can only be hinged to the one that is everywhere present, that is omnipresent. And the only one that is present everywhere is God. So truth is hinged to God. So when I come to you and I say, well, you don't come to my church, so you are not going to heaven. I cannot decide that. Only God can decide that. When I say, well, God has not accepted you, or you are not saved, or you are saved, we cannot even decide that. Only God can decide that, because God sees the heart of man, and I don't see the heart of man. And so Jesus is the truth. God is the truth. And so truth must be connected with God. That's why Jesus is God. If Jesus is truth, then it means Jesus is God. If Jesus said, I'm the way, the truth, and the life, it means he's saying, I'm God also. And because if it's true, then it's only God that is the truth. It means Jesus is the truth. Only God can say. So, and if anything is true, it's because God's hand is in there. God's hand is in everything. So only God provides us with unchangeability. And because it's unchangeable, now we can rely on that truth, that nothing will change. This is secured. Because only God is universal. Yeah, we know that, that truth will be truth in Africa, in Europe, in Latin America, in Asia, is going to be the same thing. And we know that God is the one that cannot be doubted. God is the one that is having an unbeatable reputation, and unscratched reputation. So God is absolute, and only his views could be decided and looked at as absolute views. So all truth must be based on God. All truth must be based on God. If you have been watching our videos and maybe you enjoy them, maybe you don't enjoy them, but still, we need you to help us spread the word. And for that to happen, we only need you to take 5 little steps. Please help us spread this word by liking the video. Then, if you have not yet subscribed to our channel, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. We also need you to press the notification button, and the way to do that is to click on the bell. You see the bell there? Click on it. Then, of course, leave your comments. Let's know what you're thinking about each video. And finally, we need you to go and share the word. Share this video on your Facebook timeline, on your Instagram, and every other platform that you have. All right? Let's win the world for Christ. Thank you so much. Peace.